Amazing Brazil, my favorite part of the planet and the 5th biggest country in the world, consisting of 26 very different states. Yet, most of us only know about Rio.
And one of the most commonly asked questions from you guys is this: how safe is Brazil to travel? I know you all heard the stories about how dangerous Rio is and all the different ways you can get into troubles in Brazil. I am here to tell you the opposite. Brazil is not dangerous at all to travel as long as you know where to go. In this video, I'm gonna be showing you all my favorite places in Brazil that are also famous for being completely safe, so you can enjoy and fall in love with Brazil just like me.
Brazil's 10 safest destinations, here we go. Rules. To make it on the list, the destination needs to have a tourist infrastructure. It can't be part of a major city and it's gotta have sun and beaches. And we're starting in the south, working our way north. First up, Florianópolis, which makes a lot of sense because this is known to be the safest area in Brazil. And the landscape, wow! Florianópolis may also be the most versatile contender on the list, as it comes with both a full-blown nightlife scene and endless options of great beaches.
Bem-vindo! Welcome to one of Brazil's most loved, most sought after and celebrated places, Florianópolis in the south.
Keep in mind, we're talking about the island of Florianópolis here, not the big city next to it. This is where you'll find all those incredible beaches, such as this, one of Brazil's most famous. And Barra da Lagoa is where a lot of the tourists choose to stay. It's a pretty sleepy fishing village, but the island is easy to get around using Uber. And about safety, well, I wouldn't be walking around with my money like this anywhere else.
And you're feeling so safe, you might get stupid. If I ever get robbed in Brazil, this is probably the place.
But visiting Floripa requires timing. This place was built for tourism, and off-season it may feel empty.
What I find a little bit strange is that all the hotels, all the good hostels are fully booked, yet there is barely a person inside.
On the other hand, if you choose to come when there's no Brazilian holiday, you'll have a lot of the incredible beaches to yourself. Remember, almost all the places in this video have their own guide. Check them out for more depth.
Now this is a beautiful beach.
Floripa comes with the whole package. If you prefer a busy beach with vendors serving you, you'll get that too.
Oh my God.
But more than anything, if you didn't come here for the big holiday parties, Florianópolis is a destination for nature lovers. Few places in Brazil offer such an abundance of paradise beaches as easily accessible. You'll get some pretty awesome photos. Floripa is also famous for having some of Brazil's best hiking trails. You can spend weeks wandering the green hills, ending up at one hidden paradise beach after another.
And this is, you know, a nude beach.
Sorry, I can't show more than this. Don't want to get flagged by YouTube again. When it comes to nightlife, you need to know which period to arrive. The clubs are all there, but if you time it wrong, you may be one of the only people inside. Generally, the area Jurerê International is your best bet for the big clubs, as well as the Lagoa neighborhood just outside Barra. And yeah, fix that hair, Floripa has the most beautiful people in Brazil. Okay, someone has some excess energy.
What's up, guys? It's early morning here on the road and I don't particularly like mornings, but I thought I was gonna give you a little update on my new job. It's now been 6.5 weeks since I started a little something called digital marketing after taking an online course, which basically means I'm posting the most simple videos with a catchy caption to get attention. And yes, I had my doubts about this, but sitting with my phone 2 hours a day has since then made me $6,000. And you don't need to travel, you don't even need any followers. I started from scratch myself with a brand new account. Just pick a niche that represents who you are. Underpaid teachers, greedy realtors, sports fans looking to fund their next games, and just keep posting until your audience finds you organically. If you want to know what this is all about, check out my Instagram Painless Profit or this video about how it all started. Now, back to those beaches.
Number 2 on the list, Ilhabela, just next to Sao Paulo. And the name kind of says it all. This is a beautiful island surrounded by other beautiful islands. The kind of place you go to get your fill of nature, small adventures, great food and beaches. And unfortunately also a fair share of mosquito bites. Most people end up in the main village or the historical center.
The getaway for all the people in Sao Paulo, escaping the traffic to come to a paradise island to have a good relaxed time, enjoy some beaches, some caipirinhas, and just wind down.
We need to emphasize that last part. Ilhabela is one of my favorite places in Brazil to relax. You will not get many adrenaline rushes here. This is a haven for the stressed out city folks and their families. You'll find them on the beach drinking beer from early daylight.
I found life on Ilhabela. Well, I found life in Brazil before, but this is a great place.
Sunsets are stunning and you'll find a good range of great accommodation for a very decent price. And even a fair share of alternative eco-friendly options. Such as this almost camping with pimped up plywood tents. But in the end, Ilhabela is all about getting on a boat and reaching all those pristine secluded beaches, which will keep you busy for a while.
Você gosta da praia?
Gostei.
Por quê?
O mirante, a água cristalina, tudo, a paisagem.
And most important, they have caipirinha here.
Ilhabela even offers its own signature caipirinha from a fruit I can't remember the name of, but it's good.
Let's try this water now, shall we? I'm betting it's just perfect.
Once again, if any destination catches your attention, check out my separate travel guide for them. And here comes Ilhabela's crown jewel, Praia Castellanos, a very large natural beach coming in the shape of a heart.
Oh, that's one part of the heart, the other is left to your imagination.
From here you can also jump on a tour into the vast national park of Ilhabela, loaded with waterfalls, hiking trails and small jungle springs to keep you busy. The historical part of town is also good for a couple of hours of sightseeing, some shopping and a proper meal. And about the nights, expect next to nothing in terms of action. It's all about chilling and getting to bed early for the next day. Our next little paradise is found on the mainland just across from Ilhabela. Ubatuba is the place for you who want pretty much the same deal as Ilhabela, but with world-class surfing on top of it. And don't want to be stuck on an island. Beaches here are just a little bit more accessible and come both in classic tourist style with sunbeds or completely wild and free without a person in sight. And yeah, we're stuck with drone footage on this one. All my other recordings were lost in my robbery. Of all places in Brazil, this is where I most regret being such a crappy driver. Having your own car will help a great deal to reach all the different beaches, as Uber is not widely available. This beach, which also happens to be one of the best, is particularly tricky to get to with a taxi, as it demands a little extra from the driver. But arriving here will be worth all the hassle. Both these beaches are basically called Praia do Felix. Set directions for the larger one and reach the hidden beach with a simple little hike. And that's all from Ubatuba. Now a little something for you who like to combine your island hopping with some culture. Paraty is one of Brazil's best preserved colonial towns and located in paradise. You'll find it pretty much right in the middle of Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro, a 4-hour car drive from any of them, or simply just take the bus. Safety level high.
I just love it when you can just walk from the bus station to the hostel. It's funny how you can just feel it in the air when a place is totally safe.
Paraty is an ideal weekend getaway for couples, and many choose to come here to tie the knot.
We're gonna get a matter. My father just approved it and woohoo!
Yes!
Another thing about Paraty, caipirinhas are exceptional.
There's something magical with the caipirinha here in Paraty. It's incredible.
Unfortunately, those caipirinhas won't be of much use if you want to come party a weekday during low season. Parties happen on holidays. The rest of the time, this place is for couples.
I've never felt so lonely in my life.
Aw, poor boy. Luckily, there are plenty of ways to keep busy during daytime. Walking around the colonial buildings in the old town, you'll get that nice historical vibe not found so often in Brazil. And Paraty is not just one of the prettiest towns in the country, it also has one of the darkest histories, playing a major part in the slave trade. This town was simply built to explore on foot, and you'll find a couple of nice beaches within comfortable walking distance. But while the central beach may look nice enough for a photo, I wouldn't recommend actually swimming here.
This beach is so safe, you can virtually just leave your phone going into the water.
But please don't get into the water, enjoy that drink instead.
People should come to Paraty because it's a beautiful place, like a gem lost in the middle of Rio de Janeiro. That's why I love it here.
The second closest beach is about 15 minutes away, and unfortunately also falls into the category prettiest from a distance. Luckily, things get better if you keep walking a little.
We can't wait to find out more about this city. To see the islands around Paraty, so we cannot wait.
I think you got the message by now. Paraty is nice for some culture and relaxing by the sea, but to reach the good stuff, well, you better get on a boat. Once again, we have a destination with excellent hiking trails. And this particular trail is leading up to Praia do Sono, ranked as Brazil's top 10 most beautiful beaches. I kind of agree.
This is what I'm talking about.
A great thing about this beach, although it looks completely unpopulated, there are actually a string of restaurants hiding below the palm trees. You can both kill those caipirinha cravings and get something in your belly. Now a silent second for my drone. No idea what happened. Anyways, Paraty is an absolute must if you want some time off from Rio. And talking about getting time off from Rio, this is one of my top 3 places in the whole of Brazil, just 3 hours away from Copacabana, Ilha Grande. Another convenient name, cause it's basically a big awesome paradise island to catch a break from the noise and traffic of the bustling city. And unlike some contenders on the list, Ilha Grande has it all.
Hello, I would like to cancel my trip back to Sweden.
You know the drill by now. Main town is good for some decent beaches, but jumping on a boat is how you find the good stuff. And on Ilha Grande, you're spoiled for choice. Praia Lopes Mendes is the most famous beach around and will keep you busy for a full day. Bring your own snacks though. For the actual names of all the other awesome places, you gotta check out my guide. There's literally hundreds of beaches.
Caipirinha in the water.
Most convenient is just to jump on a few boat tours to cross the best ones off the list.
Yes, this is life. It really is life being on Ilha Grande. Such a beautiful place.
I think it goes without saying that this is not a place you'll have to worry about getting robbed in the back streets. But apart from having an incredibly relaxed evening vibe, Ilha Grande actually hosts at least 2 proper party venues, open pretty much every day. You can get both a sunburn and a hangover. Don't miss this place. Alright, we're sticking around the Rio area for just a little longer. Arraial do Cabo, 3 hours northeast of Rio, is one of the most popular day trip destinations from Copacabana and cost about $50. But I'd rather recommend you to spend a few nights, cause this place is heaven. Arraial do Cabo is known as the Brazilian Caribbean, and it's all about tropical islands and paradise beaches. The boat tours will take you around some of the most beautiful spots, but that also means you're arriving along with the rest of the crowds. If you can find some extra time in your travel plans, explore Arraial do Cabo at your own pace. A little heads up though, the water around here is surprisingly cold for some reason. Also, the boat tours often come loaded with a lot more fun than you might expect. Have a few beers and enjoy the dance competition. You will most likely not win, but chances are good you make some new friends. A top-notch trip. Well, as you can see, Rio is literally surrounded by safe vacation spots. Another one is Búzios, pretty much next to Arraial do Cabo, 3 hours from Copacabana. A home run if you want a small town feel with high-end restaurants, shops and some proper beaches. You obviously want to stay close to the ocean, but bear in mind Búzios comes with a higher price tag. This is the go-to place for Rio's trendy and wealthy. Central Beach Praia do Canto is not really meant for swimming, but rather to enjoy a meal or watch the sun going down. More about that later. Restaurants come with excellent quality if you're willing to pay for it. Expect prices about 40% higher than Rio. Beach-wise, things look a little less Caribbean than you might think of a jet-set destination such as Búzios. Water quality is generally great, but expect the sand to be rather a bit yellowish than picture-perfect whites. In general, Búzios is the ideal place for people who value comfort, quality food, status, and party. And safety. This whole town is basically a gated community. And I mean, it's not like this beach isn't pretty to look at. Another great thing about Búzios is that a handful of beaches will always be within walking distance. We had less than 5 taxi rides during our whole stay. And then of course it's this. Búzios has some of the most impressive sunsets you'll see in Brazil. Just pour up that caipirinha and enjoy. And the parties. If you're here during high season or any given weekend, you'll have plenty of great venues to choose from. We totally missed the target on that one and ended up with this. You can do so much better. And that's all from the southern half of Brazil. Now a big jump up to the northeast and a city known to be the region's safest capital, João Pessoa. Not only is it safe, João Pessoa is also one of Brazil's smallest capitals. The whole city kind of has the feel of a beach town. This is all brand new footage that's never been published before. If you're lucky, I might be able to put together a travel guide in the near future. Consider this an appetizer. Life in João Pessoa kind of reminds of Rio in a smaller scale. A great deal of the culture revolves around the beach. And the beach is all around you.
Saúde!
Saúde! Bem-vindo a João Pessoa!
I'd recommend João Pessoa for anyone who wants Rio de Janeiro on Xanax. You get most of the pretty stuff, but very little of the thrill. Life here is just so much slower. Just like in Rio, the sunset is a huge deal and the most popular place to enjoy it is on Jacaré, a river beach in the northern part of town. Dining options in João Pessoa are cheap but a bit limited. But on the other hand, it has one of the biggest clubs I've ever seen in Brazil. Priscilla's Hall is a huge venue that swallows thousands of guests any given weekend. I never thought I would say this, but this place almost gets a bit too crowded. Very unexpected. Moving a tiny bit north, we arrive at a place most of you should know by now. My beloved Pipa. I've already been drowning you in Pipa content, so I'll keep this short. This is simply the perfect vacation spot for beach bums who want party on the side. High season, this place goes totally wild, and people planning to stay just for the weekend get stuck for weeks. Top that with total safety and Brazil's best party cruise. Don't miss Pipa. I'm gonna get into trouble for putting this one on the list, but I want to make a point. Natal is a beach city with some problematic crime stats, but in reality those numbers are of no concerns for tourists visiting, cause tourists will stick to the areas near the beaches where all the fun stuff happens. And the beaches, wow!
É uma cidade calorosa, quando você chega você é bem recebido, as pessoas têm uma energia lá pra cima, além de você conhecer as melhores baladas e também o quê? Eu, que sou uma pessoa top,
I agree, of all the friendly people in the Northeast, Natal may have the most cheerful. And venturing outside of town, you'll come across some true wonders of nature in a weird mix of volcanic rocks, turquoise water and white sand. Choose between your own little jacuzzi or endless pristine beaches with lukewarm water. But although Natal has plenty of bars and clubs, it will be a tough challenge finding anything reminding of Western music. Up here, it's all about local music style forró, which is not really my style. It's not over. Did you seriously think I'd list Brazil's best safest destinations without mentioning my sweetheart Jericoacoara? And this paradise needs to be on the list as well, although I haven't afforded to actually visit yet. That's it, Brazil's 12 safest destinations. If you liked the video, please consider scanning these codes for a donation or to reach my Gringo shop, where you can find my brand new Single Man's Guide to Rio or the Ultimate Travel Guide. Thanks for watching and be safe.